Some scenes were never meant to air, not because they weren't funny, but because they went too far. Dark jokes, disturbing animation, and moments that made even the writers uncomfortable. SpongeBob may be the face of childhood fun, but there's a side to Bikini Bottom you've never seen. Hidden clips, banned jokes, and scenes pulled after airing. Nickelodeon buried them deep, but not deep enough. What did Patrick say that made parents complain? Why was a full episode yanked hours before its premiere? These aren't rumors, these are real, and once you know what was cut, you'll never watch SpongeBob the same way again. 1. Sandy's unseen struggle. During the episode, someone's in the kitchen with Sandy. Plankton steals Sandy's fur coat, creating an embarrassing moment where she must walk through Bikini Bottom exposed in only her underwear. The scene started with more revealing content until producers revised it to suit the canonical audience guidelines. The townspeople throughout the story act as though Sandy is totally naked, despite her actual attire raising questions for viewers. Sandy's attempt to hide with a traffic cone causes an accident, and she faces rejection from stores because of her beach outfit. The production removed various scenes throughout the series to preserve the show's family-friendly reputation. 2. The Lost Adventures of Sponge on the Run. The SpongeBob movie, development stages for Sponge on the Run, produced multiple significant modifications to the project. The filmmakers abandoned their concept for a hybrid live-action animation production in Atlantis when they became concerned about how well it would perform commercially. Later plots included stories where cats transformed into massive robotic forms while King Neptune tried to duplicate Gary. SpongeBob and his friends were intended to visit various worlds, starting with a universe where dolphins reside in a futuristic metropolis. The imaginative storylines eventually gave way to a more relatable narrative when Steven Hillenburg expressed his desire for sensitive themes. 3. A Wedding That Wasn't. The special episode Truth or Square modified a specific wedding scene where SpongeBob and Sandy married each other. SpongeBob says it doesn't have to be about the wedding play at the end of his response before getting slapped by Sandy. The production team eliminated this scene because it threatened to create romantic speculation between SpongeBob and Sandy by showing their relationship in different terms than deep friendship. The show maintains character relationships ambiguous, so viewers can interpret them independently. 4. Love Beyond the Bun. The deleted version of To Love a Patty escalated the plot as SpongeBob showed extreme love for his preferred food item at the Krusty Krab. A previously shown shot revealed SpongeBob sleeping next to his patty while wearing underwear, which created implications of intimacy between him and his food. The creators cut the original scene because they wanted to avoid any potentially provocative implications. They chose to show SpongeBob having an innocent picnic instead. The modification occurred as Nickelodeon worked to preserve its children-oriented format while preventing audience discomfort. 5. Explosive humor. Cut short. Nickelodeon decided to cut the explosive gas explosion sequence from the episode Just One Bite. When Squidward accidentally confused gasoline for water in the initial scene, he ended up creating a fiery blunder. The network made the decision to eliminate this sequence from the show because it wanted to prevent harmful conduct from being promoted while Americans were still processing the impact of the recent attacks of September 11th. Network responsibilities remain a priority during important occasions because of the removal decision. 6. The SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. When the SpongeBob movie, the release of the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water in 2015, delighted fans because it presented a fresh narrative approach. SpongeBob and his friends made their debut in real-world settings by appearing as 3D CGI versions, while leaving Bikini Bottom for the first time. Movie fans might not realize the initial plan to animate the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water, the same way as past SpongeBob, content with classic 2D styles from both the original series and initial movie. The decision to switch animation styles had multiple considerations beyond artistic freedom. The studio executives at Paramount predicted CGI would better connect with movie consumers and expand movie distribution across international borders. The studio leadership compelled project developers to combine their traditional 2D animation techniques with current 3D high-end special effects for scenes integrated with real actors. The newly implemented production approach proved crucial for the workflow of the film. In an interview with Clancy Brown, who voices Mr. Krabs, he said executives' increased pressure resulted in an excessively stressful work environment compared to past projects. The creative staff needed to continuously adjust their scenes to meet the requirements of the new visual approach, which resulted in the loss of several original concepts. One key adjustment during production led to supporting characters taking a step back. Additional screen time went to Sandy Cheeks because marketing strategists identified her as a character who fit action scenes better, while Pearl and Mrs. Puff almost disappeared from the production. The production team eliminated both the musical performance, Thank Gosh It's Monday, alongside multiple original scenes from the animated movie. The filmmakers removed a sequence where SpongeBob and Squidward incorrectly prepared nasty patties, which caused distressing scenes that the makers felt were inappropriate for children watching. The creative choices behind animated movies illustrate how directors face opposition from business executives between preserving their original artistic ideas versus meeting box office expectations. 7. Scaredy Pants. In the Halloween-themed episode Scaredy Pants, one of SpongeBob SquarePants' earliest holiday specials, the beloved Sponge attempts to overcome his reputation for being easily frightened. Desperate to be taken seriously as a Halloween scaremaster, SpongeBob concocts a plan to terrify everyone at the Krusty Krab party. Disguising himself as the legendary Flying Dutchman by shaving his head into a ghostly cone shape, SpongeBob manages to frighten the crowd until his costume fails and the truth is revealed in a hilariously shocking moment. What many fans may not know is that the episode originally included a much more intense visual gag. In the first version of the climax, when SpongeBob's costume is accidentally removed, there was a close-up shot of his exposed brain, a grotesque, detailed image that startled even the animators. Though intended to be comically absurd, the image was ultimately considered too frightening for the show's young audience. This small but significant change highlights how carefully SpongeBob SquarePants balanced spooky fun with age-appropriate humor. While the show has always embraced surreal and sometimes bizarre visuals, moments like this reveal how the creators ensured it remained accessible and enjoyable for children without sacrificing its offbeat charm. 8. Sailor Mouth. The episode Sailor Mouth is one of the most memorable and controversial installments of SpongeBob SquarePants, known for cleverly addressing the topic of inappropriate language. In this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick discover a bad word written on the dumpster behind the Krusty Krab. Not understanding its meaning, they begin to use it casually in conversation, with the offensive word humorously replaced by dolphin chirping sounds. The episode turns into a satire of censorship and language taboos, managing to entertain while subtly critiquing societal attitudes toward profanity. Removing the scene preserved the episode's clever tone while maintaining the network's responsibility toward young viewers. Still, its existence in storyboards and early scripts remains a fascinating glimpse into how SpongeBob SquarePants navigated the fine line between edgy humor and age-appropriate content. 9. The SpongeBob SquarePants movie. The original movie was a hit, but it almost featured Patchy the Pirate leading the live-action pirate crew. This idea was scrapped, possibly due to concerns about Patchy's low-budget appearance clashing with the film's production values. Another deleted scene involved SpongeBob and Patrick encountering a realistic-looking Sandy in the real world, leading to a comically gross reaction from Patrick. They also were to meet human versions of themselves, a concept that was ultimately left out. 10th, Snowball Effect. In Snowball Effect, a scene was storyboarded where Squidward builds a snowman dungeon to extract secrets from SpongeBob and Patrick. This darker, more intense scene was likely cut to keep the episode's tone appropriate for children. The idea of a torture chamber, even a snowy one, didn't align with the show's usual lightheartedness. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe and comment.